And as always, before we start, we would like to say a patron shout out today. And today's patron shout out goes to Garrett Adkins. Thank you so much for supporting us over on Patreon and dealing with our craziness over there. We really appreciate it. And just from the bottom of our heart, it really means a lot from all of us. So thank you so much. And we hope to see a lot more of you.
Welcome to the Horror Hour.
We
all go a little mad.
forget you. You Here's Johnny.
Hello and welcome back to the Horror Hour, the place where we discuss, debate, and disagree on all things horror. I'm one of your hosts, George, and today I'm joined by my fellow co-host, Yutaka.
Hello.
And today it's a little festive because we, of course, are doing holiday horror, which I'm really excited about because there's nothing better than a horror film on a holiday, I think. And what better way to celebrate that than to talk about it, as voted, of course, by our patrons. If you haven't, you can sign up to our Patreon. The link is in the description below. You get access to all sorts, including early access, live streams, movie madness. There's some crazy stuff over there. So if you want it, go and check it out. And while we've got you here, you might as well subscribe if you'd like, and like the comment. Let us know if you're ring the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And you can even follow us on Instagram and Twitter if that's not enough for you. We're at the Horror Hour TV. So do that while you've got a second to sort your bearings, and then we're going to dive right into our picks.
Sort your bearings. Gotcha.
Sort out your bearings,
Sorry.
you know. So today it's just the two of us because it's just us. Nobody wants to be with us, so we just thought, hey, let's hang out together and let's talk holiday horror.
Liam is out getting hammered with his nan, so
yes,
that's
so
always
happy birthday,
totally love it.
Liam's
happy
nan.
birthday. And David is with family because both, George and I, we really don't have family.
No, we've only got each other, so that's why we're here today.
Mm-hmm.
You're our family, guys, so we're spending it with you.
Yes.
And we always spend our holidays with family, so it works out great.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for this because I think we've both got some interesting picks. I'm excited to hear what you've got and to see if you're familiar with some of mine as well. So let's just dive right into it. Yutaka, why don't you go first? Go on, why not?
Okay. All right. So I was introduced to this film last year when I guested on a podcast, The Horror Hangover with Cass Clark. And oh my God, it's terrible. And I'm forgetting his name. Ryan. I forget his last name. I am such an awful, awful person.
Oh my God.
Ryan Bradley. Sorry. I had to look at his book. I have his book. I'll pull it up in a second. You guys, this is going to be an unhinged episode. I've been living off NyQuil for I don't know how long.
God,
okay. So the movie is called Rare Exports. It's from 2010. It is... This is kind of like Unhinged.
Mm.
This is the tagline for this one is this Christmas, everyone will believe in Santa Claus. Now, here's the best part though. Basically, how do I say this? Because I'm going to butcher this. The name of the place. We're already starting off strong, y'all. This is a Finnish film. And so that's why I know I'm going to butcher. It's in the depths of the Korvanturi Mountains? Sure.
Okay.
486 meters deep lies the closest ever guarded secret of Christmas. The time has come to dig it up, and this Christmas, everyone will believe in Santa Claus. Basically, kind of to add on to that, they end up finding, what they believe to be Santa Claus. And Santa Claus just happens to be a ravenous monster. I'm dead serious. And this thing is wild. You've got, we're not just talking about one Santa. You're going to get like at least 40 to 50. You're going to see naked Santas. So if you can't deal with penis, this movie is not for you.
Oh my God.
You are going to see some dark comedy. It's like an adventure fantasy horror is what IMDb puts it at.
Okay.
It's on AMC Plus or Shudder. It's really funny. I suggest it. And actually at the heart of this film is also about grief and loss. Great Thanks for Holiday,
Yeah.
y'all.
The best.
About a father and son trying to move past the fact that, their the mom is no longer with them. It's a really, really fun, gruesome and hilarious Christmas Tale from
Okay.
Finland. So Rare Exports, 2010 on Shudder, AMC Plus. Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag maybe one day. So that
Right.
that sounds really cool. Actually, I haven't had that one. I'm definitely let me add that to my list as well because I do love a good Christmas one. Okay, so
And these penises are coming at you. This isn't like
This is
Terrifier. They're not like ripped off. They are running at you. And it was a really funny scene. Made me laugh my ass off.
That sounds. I mean, if you had a reason, check it out. I mean, that's the one reason. The only reason. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of the one that's probably a bit more obvious. Out of my picks, so I'm going to go with the 2015 version of Krampus, because I really like that film. It's got a great cast. I mean, Toni Collette's in it, so anything with Toni Collette in is just fab in my eyes. And I really, she says no. She looks okay. We'll unpack that. But yeah, I really like it. Christmas horror comedy. You know that everyone knows like Krampus and that story. And this was the first version I watched, and then I found there were previous versions and I had watched them. But as this was the first one, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good mix of comedy and horror elements. I thought the design for Krampus was really cool. And I remember when the trailer came out and I was like, this is because I had no idea. I'd never heard of the idea of Krampus before. So like this kind of made me go, what is this? And then I went into it and Googled, and there was like a time around this time when I was obsessed with like Krampus and like that cool idea. So yeah, I really like it. It's fun. It's an easy watch, and Toni Collette's in it. So I mean, what more could you say? And it's a dysfunctional family. We love a dysfunctional family at Christmas. I think every family is pretty much dysfunctional at Christmas and through the holidays.
Those are facts. Yeah.
So I mean,
it's not my favorite, but I was more like, there are some movies Toni Collette's been in where we're like, I don't know, that was a choice. But I do love her. Yeah. Because don't you hate Hereditary?
I mean, to be fair, I do hate Hereditary, but she was good in Hereditary. So
listen to him, caught him in a lie, y'all. Call him out.
Terrible.
But yeah, no, Krampus, I loved it. Was definitely very heavy on the comedy.
Yes.
I loved the ending was so morbid, so I enjoyed that. But yeah, I mean, it's not one of my favorites. It's not like a go-to that I watch, every Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I enjoy it, and yeah, it's probably one of the ones that I start with like at the beginning of Christmas. Like I probably watch that like around this week, like just before we get into December to start getting into the mood, and then I'd delve into some of the others that I have, which we'll share in a little bit later on. But yeah, that's my first one, 2015 Krampus. What about your next one then, Yutaka?
So we just passed Thanksgiving here in the States. We're the only ones who celebrate it because we're awful people. No, but okay. So it's not very often you get a Thanksgiving horror film. Mm-hmm. And now, granted, this isn't really that this takes place over like Thanksgiving break. So it's kind of in that genre or that realm, but it is really good. And it stars somebody who George would probably know because they played Alice Cullen.
Oh my god! Yes, I love her.
I know. What's her name?
Oh my god!
She got you on that one again.
You did. She was at Liverpool Comic Con the other day. Mm-hmm. Oh my god! I'm sorry.
Ashley Greene. Anyways, so the movie's called Christy, and it's actually a really good one. So it's when a college girl who is alone on the campus over the Thanksgiving break is targeted by a group of outcasts. So she must conquer her deepest fears to outwit them and fight back. So it's kind of like, think of almost kind of like in the vein of You're Next, which also takes place kind of around Thanksgiving holidays. But this is really good. Now, I will say Ashley Greene is the bad person, so let's not like be in love with her, even though you can be. Yeah. But it's really good. And it also stars Haley Bennett and Lucas Till. I really enjoy it. It's edge of your seat kind of thriller. You got some gnarly deaths, and it's free on Freevee if you have that.
Oh,
I think
okay.
that's Freevee. I think it's part of like IMDb. Not sure. So basically you can watch it for free, but there'll be ads. It is really, really good though. Not a lot of people talk about it. Came out in 2014, and I had a good damn time with this one. Yeah. So Christy.
There we go. Add that one to the list. Are all of yours, because I should have asked this before we started, but I didn't. Hey ho. Are all of yours like holidays and like this time of year, or are they just holidays throughout the year?
Throughout the year, because I
Okay.
have one that's an Independence Day one.
Oh, and it's not Independence Day.
I know. No, it's not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Actually, hold up. The first Independence Day was really good. Huge box office hit. For a long time, it was one of the highest grossing films. Now, that's obviously been, like Marvel's, taken away from that. But the first original Independence Day was really good. I mean, Jeff Goldblum, Will Smith.
Yeah,
good combo. So
I enjoyed that one. I enjoyed it. Okay, then
But
I'll go with my next one, which is a very recent addition to George's holiday horror list, because me and Yutaka literally just did a movie commentary on our Patreon, and it is Trick or Treat. Because let me tell you, the moment I watched that film, I fell in love with Sam, and I'm still in love with Sam so much, and I want to buy everything that he is on. It's really bad of me that I have. Well, I mean, we're not surprised at this point, but that I hadn't seen that film previously.
Right? Yeah, it's nobody's surprise when you're like, "Oh, I haven't seen this." We're like, "We know." Like,
we know.
Insert the Charlie's Angels clip. That's what it's like. We know.
But let me tell you, I really enjoyed this film. I loved the. I thought it was a different take on like anthology, because normally with a lot of anthology, it's like obviously it's small. When you think of like VHS and stuff, they're all like in different stories within
They're
one.
not as connected.
Yes, whereas this was like different stories all connected, which I really, really liked. I thought the acting was great. I really loved the story, and the design of Sam with and without their mask was cool. And there was just it was just so much fun, and it made me miss Halloween because we watched after Halloween. But so I have to just give it a shout out, because yeah, I'm going to be watching this film for a long time now. Thanks, Yutaka. And for everyone who voted.
Thank the patrons.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the ones who voted. But honestly, I'm a huge fan of this. I remember when it came out, it was very limited release. It wasn't like this massive success at the theaters. So it kind of was more of a, cult hit. But people have fallen in love with it over the years, and rightfully so. It is truly what a fun Halloween horror flick. And I agree. Like, one of the cool things about it is it all takes place on one Halloween night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cool how either the stories or the characters are all connected in one way, shape, or form. And so I loved that. And yeah, and also some kids get what they deserve.
Absolutely. And it was a wonderful sight to behold, in my opinion. So
That
yeah,
fucking deserved it too.
absolutely, Jesus.
Awful kid.
But yeah, that would be my second one. It was great, and I really loved it. So, and if you haven't already, and you want to, you can check out on our Patreon under the Movie Madness tier, where we watch a movie every month that's voted for by our patrons. Okay, Yutaka, take it away with your second.
So this one, I'm going back to the 80s, y'all.
Ooh.
Actually, I love the 80s.
Yeah, you do.
So this one, though, it's actually a Stephen King classic, and it kind of takes place over Independence Day. And it is... Okay, and I should preface this by saying not all Stephen King adaptations are great, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I love Stephen King, but sometimes the filmmakers they just don't get a lot from what the story used to be.
Yeah.
So this one is 1985's Silver Bullet. And it's in a small town. Brutal killings start to plague a close-knit community. And Marty Coleslaw. Oh my God, is his last name really Coleslaw?
Coleslaw. Okay.
Anyways, a paraplegic boy is convinced the murders are the doing of a werewolf. Hence the title, Silver Bullet. kill a werewolf. And it stars Gary Busey and Corey Haim, R.I.P. Back kind of when Corey Haim was still starting to become really, really famous.
Right.
But it is based on Stephen King's novel Cycle of the Werewolf. And yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's a really good, it's a great werewolf story in general. But yeah, it's technically classified as holiday horror. And I would suggest it in a heartbeat. It's a really great werewolf story too.
Ooh, okay, yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good one. I like the mixing it up there with the Independence Day.
You weren't expecting it. Now, on this one too, this one is not available to stream anywhere, at least here in the States. You'd have to rent it on Amazon or iTunes, but it is worth a watch if you haven't seen it. It's one of my, I would put it up there with some of my Stephen King adaptations that I actually enjoy, because there are some who may even be directed by some famous people that I absolutely cannot stand. And I will leave that unnamed.
Okay, moving on. Well, it seems you're in the 80s. I think we'll stay in the 80s.
Ooh, yes.
And my next one is My Bloody Valentine. Because
I knew that was coming.
Listen, I really like this film. I'm talking about the original one, guys. I mean, I didn't hate the 3D one. I thought it was
the remake did a good job, but nothing
fine.
beats that original.
No,
that original was fire.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, for those of you who know, it's basically about a group of adults who decide to throw a Valentine's Day party, and then they obviously bring back the vengeful wrath of a maniac, who's dressed in a mining suit, and just says, "Hey, everyone, let's kill you all." So, it's great. There's some great kills. Like, it's gory. It's like, it's one of the few 80s films I had seen prior to being on the Horror Hour. One of the very few, but it is one of them. I mean, but I mean, I really liked it.
There are two versions, don't forget.
Well, they had the one. Is that
because one of the kills they
there was the one with the 9 minutes they took out one of them.
Like, it was the shower one. Like, you didn't get to see that as it wasn't as like visceral, or I don't know if it was because of the ratings board. They're like, we can't let you, which is a shame because it's a really cool scene. So I always say look it up. Or
yeah, I think they released it on the Blu-ray version. I think they had it in, but yeah, I mean, you've got to watch with that because it's a crazy, but it's great. And I think they had even like 3 more minutes of footage on the Blu-ray one as well. It wasn't even in the original. So, but yeah, My Bloody Valentine. It's great. It's perfect to watch when you're single and alone on Valentine's Day and you want to be the master killer. That's just no.
Or in George's life, just single all the time.
Yeah, all the single
George is
ladies.
at home watching Love Actually, crying every day.
I literally watched it last night, and I was.
I know.
Crying.
See,
I watch you when I put my Christmas decorations up the first day. It's fine. It was anyway.
Okay.
I should have put Love Actually, but it's not really a horror film. No, it's not a horror film in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, so my third one is My Bloody Valentine. If you hadn't seen it, I would check out the original. But I mean, I would also check out the remake as well. It's fine. It's not. I don't hate it. I would watch if it was on. So yeah, that would be my one.
I mean, I love the remake because the men in that are delicious and scrumptious, and Jensen Ackles
Absolutely
can get it. Now, something I didn't know. Did you know My Bloody Valentine actually takes place during Friday the 13th?
Really?
Yeah. Part of it does.
Oh.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
The more you know.
Mm-hmm.
The more you know. There we go. Okay, what's your next one then, Yutaka?
So my next one, we're gonna kind of jump. We're still in the 80s because come on, y'all. 80s was the theme. Now, it's probably a film that, as always, George has not actually seen, because if he hasn't seen Prom Night, I know as sure as well he has not fucking seen Terror Train. George, have you seen Terror Train?
No. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Terror Train was actually another slasher that starred the incredible and amazing Jamie Lee Curtis, Also had cameo performances by, this one always shocks me, David Copperfield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so really it is just a fraternity and sorority, and it is New Year's Eve, and they are on a train, and well, a masked man or woman is going throughout killing people.
On the train.
And in order to avoid being caught, they keep stealing some of their victims' costumes, so people think they're this other person when they're not, which is what allows them to continue to kill. It's actually really good. I'm a huge fan of it. It's a good 80s classic, and it's a good quick watch. It's only like 97 minutes, but again, this is around the height of, Jamie Lee had already Halloween and Prom Night, and she had Terror Train to add to her list. And that is one of my other ones. I've got one more, but just to find out, because I don't know if Terror Train is streaming anywhere for y'all. Oh, there is a remake on Tubi of Terror Train. Oh, the original's on AMC and Shudder. Amazing. So there is a remake on Tubi. I saw this with Steve at the Brooklyn Horror Fest. And y'all, the audience, we were not laughing with the movie. We were laughing at the movie. It was cringe. It was like, it wasn't even good camp, which is upsetting because they could have really went that route.
Yeah.
It was just it was an interesting film, but the theater was full. People were having a good time. I don't know if they were having a good time with the movie as much as they were just, having a good time at the movie in a sense.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because, yeah. So watch the original. It's really good. I love it. And again, it's Jamie Lee Curtis in her prime of slasher films.
There we go. Thank you very much. That's another one we'll have to add to the list of what George hasn't seen and needs to watch. So this next one, well, my last one here it's kind of a cheat, but I'm going to do it anyway. There is a show in the UK called Inside Number 9, which is basically an anthology series. It's basically very. It's similar to the Twilight Zone in a sense. So basically, each episode is a different story that has a twist at the end. And, it's trying to work out the twist, and it obviously comes off at the end. They're not all like horror though, or scary. There's a lot of them. In fact, most of them are very comical, but there are a few that are quite creepy and things like that. And basically, it all revolves around the fact that wherever it takes place, is like it's the house is number 9, or it takes place on like a number 9 bus and so on. And the two ones I want to shout out, so these are like 20-30 minute episodes on here. They're two different ones, but they both are set over holiday. So this first one is called The 12 Days of Christine, and it has Sheridan Smith, who is a huge she's like a UK actress, very big in the UK. She does all the dramas and things, and basically she meets her husband at a New Year's Eve party, and then this shows her life and how her life unravels around all these events that take place out of sequence, and how she's haunted by these visions of this like unknown man. And basically the episode takes place over 12 holidays and important occasions in her life.
Oh, okay.
At like intervals of like 13 months, I think it is. And you've got to try and work out what's going on. And the ending, let me tell you, I mean, you know me, but it's really fucking
Jesus
sad.
Christ, you were crying.
I was crying. It's
fucking hell.
It's really sad, but it's so good. And Sheridan Smith is so good in it, and they're all great. But yeah, it takes place over like their wedding, but then you've got like Halloween and Christmas and New Year and things like that. So it's definitely one to watch. But yeah, bring the tissues for the end. And then the second one of this that I want to shout out. This one is just pure like terrifying to me. There's and I think you'd really like this one actually, Yutaka. So it's called The Devil of Christmas.
Already sounds like it's my party. Let's keep going. Is the devil cute? Is he hot?
Well, so basically what it is they are making a film within this episode, and it's about an English family that traveled to an Austrian chalet in December in 1977.
Ooh.
And they're told the story of Krampus by their guide.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the film's director provides the audio commentary for what's happening in the film. And let me tell you, the ending is just like you think you know where it's going. You have it's like really, really meta, and like the ending, you're just like, oh my god. And I remember my parents watching it like around Christmas, and my dad and mum like got up in the middle of the night and they were like, we're still thinking about that ending. Like it really stuck with us.
So George,
Yeah,
where can I find this?
It's on BBC in the UK, so I reckon it's on Amazon Prime or something. Inside Number 9, I think will be on it. It's definitely on something. I'll have a look, but it'll be streaming somewhere for US because it's very popular in the UK.
Should we watch this together?
Oh, absolutely! It's only half an hour. We should watch it later.
Oh my god!
The ending
really
is
good.
Like
you've got me. Like this sounds really good.
And and Derek Jacobi plays the film's director, and Derek Jacobi is a huge actor in the UK, really big.
He hot? Is he cute?
He's gay, but he's about 85. So,
do you got money?
Yeah, absolutely. He's been in acting for like years. He's like he's like best mates with Ian McKellen.
Oh my god!
Yeah. They actually had a show together in the UK about these. You'd love it. They're two old gay guys that just.
Oh my god! I already know the show. Oh my god!
Yeah, so that's Derek Jacobi's the other guy. And he's got a great voice. So
he's hilarious. Okay.
So funny.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'd really recommend this. It's crazy. And you're just like, oh my God, that end is madness. So yeah, that would be mine. But you've got one more, right, Yutaka?
I do. I could give you a whole list. And I'm gonna rant off a couple, y'all, like real quick too, because we obviously can't go without at least recommending, like Black Christmas, and, the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this film, oh my god, this film that I'm about to talk about it came out in 2016. I think it was, I don't know if it went straight to video, but I can tell you, I remember when I watched the trailer, I was like, I need this film, I need it. And so I would constantly like be refreshing like the iTunes store or something, trying to find out, and then I found the release date, and as soon as it was available, I purchased it. And it is now a staple I watch every Christmas, if not even in between, because it's so funny too. And it's called Better Watch Out. Oh. And it's on a quiet suburban street. A babysitter must defend a 12-year-old boy from intruders, only to discover it's far from a normal home invasion.
Oh, home invasion! I do love my home
invasions. Now, and if you watch it, one of my favorite lines in the film is when they're like, oh my god, are we gonna home alone this dude? And then you just see him toss the paint can over. And I mean, this film is twisted, it's hilarious, got some sick deaths. You've got cameos from Virginia Madsen, Candyman, Dacre Montgomery, Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Olivia, how do you say her name? Olivia DeJonge? What well, you recently watched Elvis, right?
Yeah.
You played Priscilla.
Oh, okay. Yes, yeah.
Oh, wait. She was Becca in The Visit, one of our favorite found footage. Yeah. So it stars her. And I mean, it is really good. And the great thing, because, we do love to support queer folk, it's directed by Chris Peckover, queer film director. It is really funny. It's definitely kind of like a lighthearted one. It's another one that's on Shudder AMC, y'all. I tried to find things that I was like, hey guys, here's where you can, maybe watch these and check these out.
Yeah.
But it's a good quick watch. I think it's like only 90 minutes. It goes by really fast, but it is pretty freaking funny. And yeah, I'm a huge fan. So it's one that I always watch every year now since.
Yeah.
Because I own it. But yeah, no.
It's a good one.
I highly, highly recommend that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Well, yeah, there's a couple then, I think, the obvious ones then to reel off. I mean, I wasn't sure if anyone was going to, wasn't sure if you were going to say this one actually, but I was also going to say, it technically happens at Christmas, Inside.
The way somebody put in our Patreon, because I know you sometimes don't look at the comments, they actually asked how long this episode would go before somebody mentioned that.
And David wasn't here, but
Jesus.
I'm sorry for being predictable.
Yeah, well, it is you, George.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could mention Inside. It is actually a really good film. It's twisted. You also have Gremlins.
Yes.
That's a family classic.
Mhm.
You also have, I mean, it already says in the name, New Year's Evil. That's a 1980s one. Not one of my favorites, but it's kind of a cult classic.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving just happened, so there's Blood Rage, again, another 80s. You have all the Silent Night, Deadly Nights.
All of them.
All of them.
Jesus.
And one that I didn't realize was a holiday horror because it takes place over Easter, and I'm shocked I forgot about this. Bless the Child.
Oh.
With Kim Basinger and Christina Ricci.
Oh, cool. Easter. It's been a long time since I've seen that film, but maybe okay. And you've also got like what was it? Oh my god, that's just completely gone out of my mind. That went from here and flew right out. April Fool's Day.
Yes, April Fool's Day is a good one,
and obviously Halloween.
Yeah, there and the last one that I would recommend. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason I do like this one, it's called Holidays. Okay. Yeah, it's a 2016 horror anthology of different holiday shorts directed by all these, pretty big. Well, I wouldn't say all of them are big time directors, but I see the name Kevin Smith. I'm like, people know who that is. But yeah. Anyways, it's all centered around different holidays. So you've got a Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Halloween, Christmas, and New Year's Eve. And they're all just different like tales around these particular holidays. Mm-hmm. And it's really, really cool. It's really good. Now I think it was just, it did, okay, so it premiered at Tribeca, but it really was released on video on demand. So I don't think it had a theatrical release.
A release. Damn. Well,
but it is a really good one. I would highly suggest it. I had a good time with it. In fact, I haven't watched it in a while. Now it's not streaming anywhere. You would have to rent it. Mm-hmm. And I might just do that because there's some pretty wretched death scenes.
Mm.
So
all the holidays. That is a good idea. Though, an anthology every horror. Ooh, okay. And do you have a movie recommendation for us this evening or this morning, whatever time it is that people are watching?
Does it need to be holiday centric, or you just mean
it doesn't? But my one that I've got is holiday centric.
Okay, well, shit.
Do you want me to do mine?
You go first.
Yeah. Okay, so it was going to be on my list, but I didn't put it on. I just thought I'll save this as a recommendation, and it's called Dead End. It's a 2003 French movie, and it's basically again another dysfunctional family find themselves on a never-ending road in the middle of a forest on their way on a routine drive on Christmas Eve, while under pursuit of a mysterious hearse and a woman dressed in white. And it's really fun film. Well, I mean, I enjoy it. It's quite creepy at times. The family are great. The actors are really good in it. And the woman in the dress is scary. And it's like 85 minutes. It's really easy. I watch it sometimes like when I'm like making stuff around Christmas. If I'm like doing cookies or whatever, I'll put that on in the background because it's just kind of fun film to watch. And in 2003 it came out. It was not like a huge, amazing film. I think it did win some fairly decent French awards though for horror films. So I would definitely check it out. It's great. And yeah, it's called Dead End. And it's available on video on demand for you guys. So, what about you, Yutaka?
All right. So had to pull one out of the hat because this is also one that I am a huge fan of. I remember it when I was growing up, and this is a 1993 horror film. This is holiday related, and I can't believe none of us even thought about to even mention it because it's kind of a famous franchise with a famous, horror icon killer, starring the incredible Warwick Davis. You know where I'm going now?
Yes.
This film was, I think, one of Jennifer Aniston's first roles too, before she had the nose job. She had that because of a car accident. She even talks about it. And it is called Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Originally, it was intended to be just like a straight horror film, and then it turned out to be just such a good horror comedy.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's really not much you can talk about. It's just people at a cabin being terrorized by this leprechaun who just wants his fucking 4-leaf clover back. That's all he wants.
Yeah.
Why won't y'all give it to him?
Yeah, Jesus.
It spawned a huge franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, Warwick Davis has been in plenty of other stuff. I mean, it's not his like big bread and butter, because again, Harry Potter or The Incredible Willow, which George has not seen the original film.
No, I have.
Oh no, George
Steve hasn't seen
Steve
it.
has not seen the original because, well, Liam, myself, and hopefully eventually Steve are watching currently episodes 1 through 7 of Willow. And so we got on that. But yeah, no, it's such a great horror comedy. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the male lead was super hot. So that's always a bonus. I don't even know whatever happened to him. I don't really think he acts anymore. But yeah, I would highly suggest Leprechaun.
It is a great film. Yeah, I do really like it. I haven't seen it in ages, actually. I'll have to watch it. It's so good. And Warwick Davis is just great in everything he does. So thank you. Well, there we are, guys. That is it from us this evening, this morning, whatever time it is where you are. As always, thank you so much for sticking with us today. And let us know in the comments below some of your favorite holiday horror. Any holiday, throw it at us. We're always looking for different things. Well, usually me, because Yutaka's probably seen most of them, but I'm always looking for
I'm old as dust.
Mother Dust is always ready to go. Yes, I love that film, and I'm looking forward to seeing some other things there that I can watch over this period or over the rest of the year. And yes, please do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you would like to. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. And of course, we do have our Patreon, which is in the description below. Early access, live streams, movies, commentaries, everything. Just a load of fun over there. And of course, Instagram and Twitter at the Horror Hour TV. And yeah, until next time. Bye, guys.
You have been listening to the Horror Hour. See you next time.